Andy Card, former White House Chief of Staff. I'm just wondering, you know, we've got Jim Miklashevsky reporting on all of these disagreements. Some of them go back to your tenure. Is there always a push-pull between those who want to be more activist, those who want to be more cautious within the military? And where does that put policymakers like
it's appropriate that there is give and take and strong opinions, and they're argued. And I think leaks like this do not contribute to the president getting the best information that he could possibly get and then making a decision. So I find the public discussion of this as actually cheating the president of his ability to consider lots of good information before he makes a decision.
But just to play devil's advocate, after 7 years or longer, as the Times is reporting and Jim Miklashevsky, our colleague, has confirmed, after so long a period of dysfunction, some would say, in the ability to go after bin Laden, do the American people, especially before the next election, deserve an explanation?
Look, the president's job is to protect the country. He should make sure that we should make sure the president's getting the best advice. But if the advice is going to be aired in the public before it's presented to the president and denies the president the ability to make the decision because the public will make the decision without all of the information, that's not very good. So I'm someone who actually believes there should not be monolithic counsel in the White House, and there's not. There's lots of different views. The president should hear those different views and then be able to make a tough decision.
Pat Buchanan, is this the kind of thing which should prompt a leak investigation?
Well,
how about some plumbers? To use an old-fashioned term.
I'm sure it will. Let me ask you, Andy, Seymour Hersh today has another story, which he says he's got a presidential finding, which has apparently been leaked. He's talked to the four Democrats.
Is a secret intelligence order that has to be reported to Congress,
which says, in effect, authorizes American special forces, I guess in CIA assets, to operate inside Iran, and gives them, of course, the right to kill in pursuit of their targets. Now, and this, of course, is what Iran's claiming we've been doing to them. Do you know anything about this, or what's your feeling about the whole thing?
I'm not going to answer the question. I can tell you that if it's a secret finding, it's supposed to be secret. And first of all, lawyers are involved in this process all along the way. And I think it's reprehensible that the president's ability to consider options that are in the best interest of our national security should be aired in the public, and really deny the president then the chance to make those decisions.
Let me follow up on that. We've also got Ehud Olmert is over here urging the president to strike. The Israelis had 100 planes go toward Greece, 1,500 kilometers, and come back. You hear all these things on Capitol Hill, and the House has a resolution calling for a naval blockade. 362. These are acts of war. I mean, shouldn't the American people be brought into it if we're preparing for a war with Iran?
I'm not sure that we're preparing for a war with Iran. We should be preparing to protect America and America's interests.
You're talking about military strikes, perhaps against a nuclear
I feel very strongly the president should have the ability to consider all options to provide the best possible security for the country and our allies and our interests. And it's wrong for people to have a debate that will take consideration off the table.
All right, well, let me ask you this, though. If the United States, the president determined, look, we've waited long enough, we've got to hit the Al-Quds forces, and we got to take those nuclear plants out at Natanz and Iraq and Bushehr. Does he have that authority right now to do it? The President of the United States do it alone? Or does he have to have specific authorization from the Congress of the United States because these are acts of war?
Well, he has an obligation to protect us, and there's no conditional clause to that obligation. The Constitution doesn't have an if in it.
Well, if there was a finding...
But yes, I guarantee that he would like to have congressional authority to do whatever he does.
Andy, that means that Congress was notified, and Congress is now sworn to secrecy on this
Congress,
finding.
under this process, is engaged appropriately. I mean, it's within the intelligence community.
But Andy, let me just ask, does he have the authority on his own right now, if he decides it's the right thing to do, to strike Natanz?
If he believes there is an imminent danger to our national security, I would argue that he has the authority, in fact, the obligation.
There's no imminent danger.
Well, I don't know that because I don't have access to the intelligence, and neither do you, Pat.
But imminent, it's just they're producing uranium.
No, I don't. First of all, you asked a hypothetical question.
You say it's got to be imminent, though.
I think that it has to represent an imminent threat to the security of the country.
Of course, what the Israelis are arguing is that the threat is a lot more imminent than American intelligence has, in fact, advised the White House.
That is an appropriate debate, but it's a debate that should be taking place within the intelligence community rather than in the public domain.
But the issue, though, is, Andy Card and Mika, and will you guys jump in, isn't the issue that after everything that happened with Iraq and after the intelligence failures, acknowledged intelligence failures, that the American people feel that they need to be brought into these discussions?
They should be brought in, but they can't compromise the ability of the president to protect us. And that's the hard thing. That's why being president is a tough job. The president never has the luxury of making an easy decision.
But, Andy, I think everybody agrees with you. These secrets should not be leaked out, and the people that do it, quite frankly, should be run down and punished. But the question is, if we are about to go and the Israelis are pushing us to attack Iran, this is a decision on war on which, and when you go to that, certainly the Congress of the United States should be consulted because the threat is not imminent, it seems to me, and the American people before you do something like that.
Well, I can't imagine any process going forward without Congress being consulted.
Well, in fact, Sy Hersh says that Congress was consulted.
And so I believe that the process is being followed. Having said that, I don't think that you should compromise the president's ability to make a tough decision with the best possible information that he gets. And if people are presenting information with him with an expectation that it's going to appear on the front page of the New York Times, that's going to compromise their ability to offer sound counsel to the president.
Let me just ask you also about what Wes Clark said about John McCain. He said, well, I don't think riding in a fighter plane and getting shot down is a qualification to be president. What about that?
I disagree with Wes Clark. Wes Clark will make his own decision who he's going to vote for president. I think I can predict where he's going to go, but I think that was an inappropriate comment to make for John McCain, who is a legitimate hero. And, none of us have the kind of empathy that we would need to really understand what John McCain went through. First of all, he's in a prison as a prisoner of war. His father is a very prominent admiral. He was a great propaganda tool, and John McCain never allowed the enemy to use him as a propaganda tool. It took a lot of courage to do that. John McCain has demonstrated the courage to be lonely, and that's the kind of courage you need when you're President of the United States.
Andy Card, former Chief of Staff, the Bush White House, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy.